Hello my friends, welcome back to another little tutorial. I just wanted to share something with you here today. It's just a very short tutorial. I painted this lovely little woodland scene, footpath, for Patreon, and I just wanted to add some people walking. So I thought it would be nice because it feels like it's just missing something. It needs some life, doesn't it? So I think two people walking would be very nice, and perhaps the light catching the sides of the people as they just turn the corner into the sun. I just wanted to add that into it, so I thought I would just take you along and show you how I would approach something like this. So if you're looking for a way to add people to your scene, whether it's a landscape, a snow scene, still life, street scene, something like that, it's a nice way of just bringing some life into a painting, and I think you'll find this interesting. You might learn a few little tips, and we'll take our time in just a nice short little tutorial, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. So yes, join me if you'd like to see that. Thank you for subscribing. This is over on Patreon, this picture. If you want to go and see it, go and check it out. It's a beautiful picture, lovely light, and I wanted to create the impression of the light coming around the corner. And in this video I kind of showed how you combine brights with darks to create an impact in a landscape or a scene. So it was a very nice little painting to do. I really enjoyed it. So if you want to check it out, pop over to Patreon. In the meantime, let's try and paint two people into this little painting we have here. Okay, I hope you enjoy the video. Okay my friends, here we go. This is the painting. Isn't that beautiful? Now I have a reference photograph up there for you as well. It should be somewhere. I think it's there, just in that corner up there, and it's just, I think, a nice little addition. I did a quick sketch with a pencil, just a very rough outline, so I'm just going to start painting this in, and let's see now if we can create some nice light again and shadow on these. Excuse me. So I'm going to start with, I think, the bright yellow. I'm going to take some cadmium yellow and some white, but I want to make a nice rich yellow. What I might do is get a tiny amount of cadmium red just on my palette. I think just tiny amount. Now I have this zoomed in so you can see it nice and clear. I don't want it to zoom back too much, if you know what I mean. I'm just taking mostly yellow with a little touch of cadmium red and some white. All right, there we go. Nice rich warm yellow. So let's do this. Let's just start painting. And you know, you can just have a bit of fun with this as well. It doesn't have to be complicated really. Now I did leave this dry. It's all pretty much dry anyway. It's been here for 2 or 3 days, so it's fairly dry. Dry enough for me just to paint over anyway. And let's just keep going. Nice kind of a bright, rich yellow. It flicks out towards the end. And for me, the thing with this painting is just making sure I don't lose that brightness, that lovely light that we have. I don't want to lose that. So I'm being careful, just a little careful. So I'll bring that right down there like that. A little bit of a flick over to there. So we have the dress done. And I'm now going to just start adding some shadow and brightness to this dress, okay? Because, look, a lot of people would leave this just as it is. But I think, let's play around with some light and shade in this. Come on, let's have a bit of fun. I'm taking some cadmium yellow with white, lots of white, so it's nice and thick. Very bright white. I'm just going to go around the edge up here to pretend, or let's try create that light on one side. Now what I'm going to do for the shadow is I'm going to take a touch of sienna into that. So it's almost a brown, but you can see on the photograph it's like a shady colour, isn't it? So I'm just going to go like this, as if you can kind of see the shadow in behind the dress. Does that make sense? So, just like this. A bit of shadow here and there. It's like a brownie colour I'm using there, that's all. So you can begin to see it just starting to come to life a little bit. Now I'm going to mix a grey. I'm going to use magenta, tiny bit of black and a tiny bit of blue, all right, and a little touch of white. I'm using kind of a purpley colour now for this kind of shadow. So I know it's probably counterproductive with the yellow, but I'm using a very reddy purpley colour, okay? And I'm just going to go and kind of hit this with some shadow here and there. Primarily kind of on the right side if possible, but I don't want to go too overboard with this. I'm just being very careful with the shadows, very careful. Slowly now, bit by bit, I'm going to build this up. A little bit of blue, a little bit of magenta, and again I'm going to go back in again. So we have like a little belt going across here, don't we? Let's put a belt like that. Again, a little touch of shadow coming down here like that. And I will kind of soften these two as well, so not to worry. I just want to spend a bit of time doing this, you know, and just get a really nice effect. So we have that done. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush and just start painting the arms. I'm going to use a little Naples yellow with a touch of burnt sienna. And I like to kind of start off with a slightly darker colour and lighten it as we need. So a little burnt sienna, a little Naples yellow, no thinners on this. And let's put in the arm. Kind of comes down like that, don't it? Comes down. Make it slightly thicker on top. And again, don't worry if you start picking up some of the colours from the yellow and all that. Don't worry about that. A little bit tucked in on that side. And then we have, I'm going to put in two small little legs there. Just a suggestion of some feet or something. Do you know what I mean? Just something coming down. And look, at the end of the day, it's just an impression is all I'm going after. Just an impression, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a suggestion. I'll put a little bit of darkness, maybe just down the side of one, and maybe darkness down the side of the other one. And then the trick with all of this is softening colours back in, I find. Okay, now I'm going to pop a little touch of white just for the sandals or shoes or whatever it may be. Just a touch of white in underneath, okay? Just a little. Now you're probably better at doing this than I am. I'll be honest, I was never very good at painting figures and people like this. I was never the best, let's say. Now you see, I want to just brighten this so it looks like it stands out from the background a little bit. So I'm getting more yellow on my brush, and I'm going to come down here and pop some rich bright yellow like that. And I'm going to come up and again just, you know, just pop a little bits of yellow through the dress. Even just cadmium yellow on its own as well, you can use just to create that bright colour. And I've been very subtle as well, showing the shape of the person underneath the dress. Do you understand what I mean? I'm just taking my time, being careful. I don't want to make it too dark, you see. So I'm just brightening it slightly, little bits at a time. Another little bit of yellow, a bit of white. Okay, softening it through just slightly. Now, on the very edges up there, I'm going to put just white on its own. I'm grabbing a tiny bit of white on my brush, And I just want to go right over the edge with some white, just to show that light really catching the outside edge. That's all. Just to really catch the light. And maybe a little bit over here. Could be catching the light as well. And perhaps a touch just down on the corner. All these little tiny touches now will make a difference. So I'm going to move on to the man. Let's go on to the man besides. And I'm going to go with blue. I think that will complement the painting nicely. A little bit of blue, maybe a little touch of magenta, and a touch of white, just to lighten it slightly. Go for a nice rich blue with this, yes? So let's go here. And it's all, you know, it's always nice adding little things like this into your painting. I find it just brings, it really brings a touch of life to a painting, doesn't it? So simply just out like that. I know I'm not copying the photograph exactly either. And then I'm going to put maybe white for the trousers, but I'm going to kind of fade colours through them as well. For example, I'll take a little bit of that creamy colour I made earlier, that kind of sienna. I'm just going to go like this, right across, bring it down. And we come down this side as well. Again, we can adjust all of this as we need to. Okay, I'm not going to make his legs too skinny. You know, he's going to have a little bit of thickness to them. Could even maybe just bring it right across and just add some shadow later. So we can just add shadow between these in a moment. Now I go back to my small pointy brush, my very small pointy brush, and then I go into some shadow colour. So let's take a little blue, perhaps a little bit of black, small bit of a shadow colour, and I'm just going to kind of, you know, soften a bit of shadow through here and there. Again, particularly on the right side, where most of the shadow is going to be. And I'm going to take some black and just put a bit of shadow on the back of the blue as well, because that's the shadowed side over there. And just kind of mess around with it, pop it through here and there, have a bit of fun, look. Just like that. Next we have his arm, don't we? So again, back to our skin colour, and put a little bit of an arm in here, just a kind of a loose suggestion, that's all. You see what I mean? Doesn't have to be, look, it doesn't have to look exactly like at someone's arm. It could be just an impression, that's all. And perhaps a little bit just showing on this side over here, coming in. It's just, it only needs to be an impression. That's all really. And they can just kind of disappear together where they meet. Isn't that right? Then we have the head. I'm going to go for burnt sienna with a little black for the first one. Let's say the first one on this side. Okay, and just come right across like that, down. It's tricky doing these kind of, although this looks like a quite simple process. There are a few little things you need to watch out for. Sometimes you can go too big too quickly. That can happen, and it's very difficult then to fix it and take paint off and all of that. That's one thing. Trying to get the perspective is another thing. When I say perspective, the direction that they're walking in, that can be tricky as well. But I'm just popping paint on and seeing what happens. If we need to fix it, we can try and fix it. Do you know what I mean? So he's kind of turned looking at this woman next to him. So I go at a slight angle here, like that. Okay, so something like that. Then again, a little bit of skin colour. Tiny, tiny bit of skin colour. You just get some sienna, a little Naples yellow. Sienna and Naples yellow make a wonderful skin colour for these kind of things. I'm just going to simply pop a tiny, tiny bit like that, you see? Just gives the impression of a piece of a face. Same on this one. So you can't really see any details, but you can see a little suggestion of the face, just very, very slightly. Then I'm going to go with, again, a very bright yellow, just for the highlight up on the very top edge. A very whitey yellow this time. I just want to catch some highlight up here. Just a little capture of the highlight, that's all. And I'll do a tiny bit over on this guy's hair, just on top again, little highlight. Tiny highlight. You see how the smallest little highlights can make such an impact. And then for his trousers, we're going to go with just white. And you can even add a touch of yellow to that as well if you like, just to make that highlight a little stronger. Do you kind of see what I mean? Tiny, tiny suggestions, just for little highlights. Now I do want to add a crisp yellow to the dress as well. Just with titanium, or sorry, not titanium white, cadmium yellow. Little cadmium yellow. I'm just going to pop that through the dress just to really make it kind of shine in the sun. Does that make sense? So it's really about just having a bit of fun, isn't it? Just grab some paint and put it on and see what happens. And there comes to a point where you think, I have enough done, because if you keep going sometimes, you can make it worse. So it gets to a point where you think that's enough. So I'm just going to finally add a little white, again, down along the edge here, to really capture that very bright yellow effect. He just needs something to sit down on, doesn't he? Some shoes or something. Let's just put a dark colour down underneath this guy. So we're looking at him from behind, so you're not going to see a shape of a shoe or anything like that. It's just going to be two little dark bits like this. Maybe something there. And then, last but not least, we need a bit of a shadow, don't we? I'm going to bring across a bit of a shadow just across, the same as the colour underneath. So a kind of a purpley colour. A little bit of thinners. And I'm just going to bring the shadow across and let it kind of disappear and go up into the grass and the fence. So we're going to put a shadow on the fence now, you see. I'm just going to darken one section of the fence just to show there's a shadow there coming from these people. And you could even soften it through with your finger as well, you see. And it's just these types of things really bring something to life, don't they? And you see, I'm even rubbing it through with my finger as well, and all that. Darken the fence, just where they are. Soften it through, move it around. Just basically kind of have a bit of fun with this. And that's not bad now, is it? I think perhaps just one last piece, and that is a little bit of darkness on one side of this as well. I'm even going for like an orangey brown colour. just to really give this a bit of shadow. There. Now, I think that's absolutely fine, don't you? I don't feel the need to do any more. I might just take away some of this up here and take touches of black, just maybe give it a little bit of darkness there and there. You know, kind of little details, I suppose. Little, see, just small dabs of colour, just little details. I think that's fine. I think that's all we need to do without going too far. And there it is, my friends. I'm pretty happy with this. Just a nice little exercise I thought I'd share with you. I know it hasn't been a full tutorial, but I think that's quite nice. And there we go. I'm just going to stick a signature on this, because once you sign something, it's finished, isn't it? I'm just going to put a quick little flick of my brush over here, and we're done. And there we are, my friends. Does that look a little better? Could pop a little bit of red in there if you want as well. A little bit of red would be nice. So yeah, I'm fairly happy with all of this. Let me just go in there now so you can see. There we are. And that's it. I think subtle, but bringing some life to the painting, don't you? I think so. Anyway, let me just loosen my little thing here, and I will say thank you so much. I'll be back during the week, in the next couple of days now, with a really nice tutorial for you. What will I do? I do have a lovely winter scene in mind as well, just to be completely different. I also have, what I might do, is a tonal painting. It's a black and white, but it's a man sitting against a little table with a kind of a white hat on, just sitting there with a cup. I think something like that in black and white would be really nice, a tonal painting. So I think I might try it. It's going to be very eye-catching, I find, these kind of paintings. So I might do that. So stay tuned and watch out for that, okay? I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for watching.